and I couldn't help but smile, 'cause I knew you placed it there.
And welcome back to More Than a Song with Breanna Megan.
I find comfort in the smallest things.
The song you hear playing in the background is Here I Am, one of Breanna's newest songs, set to drop on all music platforms on April the 17th. Make sure you check it out. All right, this is the program where we go beyond the music and into the moment, and this moment is extra special as we are going to profile a song that is, what did we decide, ladies? It's 8 or 9 on the first album?
Yeah, it's 9 when you look at it. It's 9 on the album.
So, number 9 on Breanna's first album, Near. And it's special because it was written by both Breanna Megan and my other daughter, Breanna's sister, Faith Danielle. So it's an episode you definitely do not want to miss. We're going to dive deep into that song and go beyond just the music and the lyrics and the moment that it was written and obviously what's happening in their lives at that time. Before we get there, though, make sure that you stay connected with us by visiting legacylivingmedia.com. Also, subscribe to More Than a Song on your favorite podcasting platform. We see the numbers, we see those listening, and we want to say thank you. We know that you're paying attention and you're listening, and we are very, very honored. I know that Breanna feels, and at times has shared some very personal feelings on the podcast about her music. And that's why it's More Than a Song. So again, like and share on your favorite podcasting platform. LegacyLivingMedia.com is where you can find not only the resources for More Than a Song, but also my podcast that's in its 23rd year of What's Important Now, airs also on FM radio. So check that out as well as other things there, and we'll be very, very grateful. Okay, like I said, today's episode is special. We're not just talking about a song. We're talking about a cry out to the Father, as the song is titled, I Want More of You, Jesus. And it's something very powerful. And again, it's not just because it's a song. It's because it is a cry out to the Father, but also written by my two daughters in unity and relationship, and I believe out of a shared hunger for the presence of God. Psalms chapter 42 verse 1 says, "As the deer pants for the water brooks, so pants my soul for you, O God." And that really is the heartbeat of this song. And so without further ado, let's dive into it. Now, I do want to say that we are limited a little bit in studio today. We've got a bit of a technical issue that is limiting the amount of microphones that we have. So Breanna and Faith will be sharing a microphone. So we'll be monitoring the levels and doing the best we can. So bear with us. Okay, ladies, let's do this thing.
So I'll start, I guess. Hi, I'm Breanna Megan, if you didn't recognize my voice. So I remember we sat on the porch when we started writing this song. I had just got a new guitar, and I wanted to try
Which guitar was that?
It was the first Gibson, because if you recall, I ended up having to send that one back and got another one, and had to send that one back and had to get another one. So that was the first of the 3 that I ended up getting.
So I can't remember what happened. It had something to do with like the amplifier or something in it too. Is that right?
Yeah. So I got the Gibson, and it was a new series they put out, but it was like a cheaper version of like the Gibsons, because and it was the battery within it was dying within a week. And when I bought it, I was under the impression I didn't have to change a battery. That's what I thought I was getting. And then I got it, and it was had to put my hand in the neck of the guitar and all kinds of crazy things. And but it ended up dying within a week of getting it. And so I remember I prayed over that guitar. I was like, God, I want this guitar. You're going to heal it.
Why is Faith laughing? Faith, what is so funny?
Well, thank you for having me. But I just kind of think that it's a little bit hilarious because I remember this process and being around for it. And I just remember her anointing it with oil and taking it to the altar and praying over it. And I was like, well, first of all, it's not a human body. And second of all, I know that God can do all things, but maybe, just maybe, he just wants you to have a different one that actually works. So yes, we believe in the power of God, but it's a guitar that you just got. So
you
Well, listen, I'm convinced that guitar has been prayed over. It's been anointed with oil. It's been sent back to Gibson. They fixed it, and someone else has bought it. And I am convinced, and it was in some powerful services, and I'm convinced that whoever got their hands on that guitar felt the presence of God. I'm convinced. So that's my conviction with it.
that's great. But so maybe that was the reason why everything happened. Maybe the anointing just went along with it,
It
and
is
it touched
tangible.
somebody's life,
The
just like
anointing
a prayer shawl.
The-
So maybe that's why you put it in so many services and prayed over it with anointing oil. So you had 3 of them that you went through? Yeah. Wow, I only thought it was 1 that you sent back. You just had bad luck. Cars and guitars and everything.
So I told the listening audience on the last episode, I said, you've got to tune in for this one. And wow, it's becoming obvious already as to why. Okay, so 3 guitars. I remember the second one. I don't remember the third one.
Well, okay. I guess I have the third one now. So
Okay,
so I sent back 2. So
Okay,
the second one ended
I
up
guess-
having slashes and all kinds of stuff on it. Like, it was awful. Like, it was cut. The neck of it was cut, and it was awful. It was just not a great experience.
Now, did you anoint it with oil?
I didn't. I was like, I'm not keeping a guitar that looks like
So
it's
you
been
did
through
not-
war.
So you did not care about that poor.
I didn't care about that one. I cared about the
broken-
first one. The second one, the poor broken one, I didn't care about it.
Okay, so all right, so you.
And I think this song was written with the very first one that I anointed with oil, just to clarify.
Okay. Well, it turns out Faith doesn't play guitar, but she helped write the song. So Faith, what was broken or anointed with oil in your life?
Well, so I just remember writing this song out of place of, it was right at the beginning of, before the pandemic with COVID. And it was written on October 25th, 2019. So it was right before everything went cuckoo in the world. And as I would explain it. And so I just remember I would have been in my early preteens. And I just remember wanting like the power of God that you guys, that you've always talked about, and just reminiscing on how like the early church movements and how you guys would stay in the church, to the early mornings and just pray and see the power of God. So I was hoping for something more like that. At that point, I think I had known that there was some sort of epidemic in China. And I had been talking about it, but it was before anything ever really broke out. So it was at the beginning of just wanting something more, if that makes any sense. I just wanted a power of God.
But to be clear, and I feel like COVID has been a common theme. Of course, it was the timing of the album. But anyway, to be clear, the something more you were asking for was not COVID?
No, absolutely not.
Okay. Okay.
No, it was the power of God. I wanted a movement that I had never seen before. I've seen God move, but not to, the extent that you have per se.
So, okay. So let's back up a second. And so, this is More Than a Song with Breanna Megan. We are on episode 9, I think is what we have figured out. And everyone's pretty well acquainted with Breanna, but you're new to this audience. So just take the time to talk a little bit about yourself and share who you are to the audience.
Yeah, so I am an 18-year-old from.
Introducing the age.
Hey. Okay, so I'm 18 years old, and I have been kind of on my own little journey. I sing a lot alongside Breanna. I help lead worship at our church, and I've quite literally grown up at New Beginnings Church. So it's been kind of a journey of growing along a lot of the people in our congregation. But for me, I graduated high school almost 1 year ago, which is quite literally insane. And
Quite literally.
Quite literally. And I am on a journey of, I am the founding president of Turning Point USA at Liberty University Online. So it's the first online chapter for Turning Point USA and the first online life club at Liberty. So I'm pretty proud of that. And my schedule's been filled with meetings and all the things.
Do you like the you said your schedule being filled. I'm trying to think of the right word. Do you like the sort of the grind of it?
Yeah. So if your question is whether or not I thrive in busyness, the answer is yes, because even though it stresses me out, I tend to love just being busy because that's the way that I grew up. So, attending all the basketball games that you coached and school events and all the things like that just made me happy. So I know getting into online school, because of course I was homeschooled, for those who did not know, for 9 years. So for those times it kind of felt lonely not having friends and stuff. And then going to public school my freshman year kind of was like this strange new like thing that I had to get used to with all the people. And even though we had a really small school. So then going back to online school was one of those, like, I was excited to do it, but I was not looking forward to missing out on like the clubs that I led and of course volleyball. So that part I was not excited for, but then getting just the random opportunity to lead the charge and trailblaze this chapter has really like filled my heart, if that makes any sense.
And so then you mentioned you're at Liberty. So what is it you want to do with your life?
Yeah. So oddly enough, I originally wanted to be all these different things: veterinarian, cosmetologist. And then I had a conversation with you and you were like, hey, you would make a good lawyer. So I am pursuing my Bachelor of Science in Law and Policy pre-law. And I don't yet really know what I'm getting myself into, but here we go.
Okay. All right. Well, I can tell you what you're about to get yourself into. We're going to talk about this song.
Sounds good.
All right, here we go. All right. So let's talk about, and this goes to both of you. Who started writing this song? Where did that come from?
Yeah. So back to me. So I remember going to Breanna, if I am not mistaken, and I was like, hey, let's write a song together. And I went to her and we just sat down on the deck of our house and started writing.
Well, it was during the unboxing, so there was this big extravagant unboxing of the guitar.
I
Yeah.
was like, I didn't know what you were talking about. You said unboxing, and I'm trying to think, is that some sort of COVID term? I don't know what's happening. I didn't know what that meant. Okay, we're back to the guitar
The
again.
guitar, my baby. The unboxing of the guitar. I remember we got it. I got it in the mail. Well, FedEx or UPS, whatever brought it, and it was on the deck. And I was like unboxing this huge box, and I was. Well, I remember it. You might not remember it, but obviously I'm going to remember it. And we were sitting on the steps. We were sitting outside when we started writing it. Yeah. And I was probably messing around with the guitar, and then you came to me and was like, yeah, can we write this song? And then you started with the words. I wasn't singing. I was focused on the guitar.
Yeah. So what started as some basic lyrics turned into a 5-minute song. It was really long. When we went to the studio to record it, Josh was like, guys, this is super long. And we had to kind of go back a little bit. Like, we need to shorten this. So I just started with, I had tasted of God's amazing grace as the song begins. And I've time and time again, I've seen obviously the forgiveness that he's, given. So yeah, I started with just, I have tasted of your amazing grace. And, went
And
into.
that's the first line of the song, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And then went into, I have tasted of your presence, Lord. And those are both two things that, I have time and time again felt and, I've witnessed, but I still wanted more. And that's kind of where it led to.
So what part of the song, Breanna, did you write versus she wrote, without going into great detail about the lyrics? Did you write the first verse? Sounds like she wrote the first verse. So how did that go?
Yeah, she wrote the first verse, and then I wrote the second verse. I helped like edit things along the way. Like, she would say something. I was like, well, I think this word sounds better here. It's very similar to what you do with me. I'll finish a song, I come to you, and you're like, well, maybe change this word. It was very similar, except we were in the process of it. Whereas when I write a song, I finish it, then come to you and you edit. It was in the process of, we both were in it. We both were writing it, and we were just kind of editing it. But she still wrote, I think, 90% of the song. I wrote the second verse, and I think I wrote the first part of the bridge, but then she wrote the second part of the bridge, if I recall. And, but yeah, I just helped like with the pre-chorus and chorus, would just edit like words here and there, like, maybe try this word instead. And then she would kind of sing it, and it would flow maybe a little bit better or not. And that's how that kind of went.
So she wrote the majority of it. And, so Faith, share with us that first verse that when you put sort of pen to paper.
Yeah. So I started with, of course, what I already outlined with, I want more of you, I have tasted your amazing grace. I have tasted of your presence, Lord. And then, of course, Breanna is the songwriter. So I've written songs, this one included, but she has the lyrics in her brain. That's just the way that she works. So, getting her help with editing and all of that stuff definitely helped. Some of this is kind of a blur just because I was so young. But when we led into the pre-chorus of it saying, which is where we got the song title, I Want More of You, Jesus, we just started talking about how we wanted more of his presence, and we wanted him to begin to just, his power to flow. So.
Okay. So first verse, and then you got the title actually while writing the song. Like that's kind of where the title came from.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we went into that pre-chorus after that. So the pre-chorus, it says, I want more of you. I need more of you. I want more of you, Jesus. That was really honestly a cry from both of us. And I think honestly, we might have been talking before we even started writing this. And I think leading up to this, because you said you don't remember a whole lot, but maybe you'll help recall. I think we were talking about things, because we talked about a lot of things at the time, but I think we were talking about like Jesus, and just, obviously we talked about things like that all the time, but wanting his presence, wanting to see a move of God, wanting all of these things. And I think this pre-chorus was just the cry of both of our hearts. Like, and you mentioned that at the beginning, just the cry of both of our hearts saying, I want more of you. Because it wasn't just, Faith saying that. It wasn't just me saying, it was a unifying both of us saying, we want you. We want more of you. Because we both have heard all the stories. We both have heard all of the things, but we want more of you, Jesus. We don't want just the mediocre. We don't want just the come to church on Sunday, do what we do, and then leave. We crave, we desire so much more. And that was a lot of that pre-chorus that we were writing.
Yeah, but it wasn't just a desire. Like the second part of that pre-chorus says, I need more of you. So it went from a desire to like, God, we don't just want you, we need you to get through this life. And so for me, this song was, of course, a cry out, like she mentioned, wanting to see the things that, the earlier churches saw. But it also went into, like, I have personally seen his healing on my life. So I didn't want just, like she said, a mediocre, like, power. I want it all. Like, I want his presence just to completely flow and fill this place. So, and when I say this place, like every space that we are in, you know what I mean? So just continue to be perpetual.
Well, and even just filling your body, like, because we go to church often and we're like, well, fill this place, talking about the church or the sanctuary, but we often forget, like, fill us, fill our bodies, fill who we are, make us new, make us clean, that cry from our hearts. And I think we were realizing that, like, it starts from within. Revival begins from within before it can go outward. And I think that's a lot of what we were realizing it without realizing it at the time.
And even now we're starting to talk more about like revival, and I hear revival even coming up in like mainstream channels. Like there are people who are beginning to hunger more for a move of God. And obviously he is moving in places. I mean, there's absolutely no doubt about that. And he will never withhold his spirit. And the Bible says that a broken and a contrite spirit, he will not refuse. So a lot of times it just comes about by us positioning ourselves in the appropriate place. And I think this song is a lot like that. I want more of you. Then it transitions to, I need more of you.
Yeah, so like Breanna said, like the revival starts with your heart. And I often view it as this perpetual overflow from your private time with God to then the public spaces. So it goes from just this like private moment, which is where everything begins, to then as a congregation, as a church, as a whole, we begin to not only hunger, but our thirst is then fulfilled.
Yeah, I've often said it, and I've said it a great deal over the last several weeks, God will never bless publicly until there's been some brokenness privately and some relationship privately and that desperate walk with him privately. Okay, so verse 1 says, tell us again.
I have tasted your amazing grace. I have tasted your presence, Lord.
Okay, and then it immediately goes into the chorus, right? I want more of you. I need more of you. I want more of you, Jesus. Is that right? Okay, and then what's that second verse look like?
Well, so that was the pre-chorus. So then it goes into like the main body of the chorus. And it says, let your presence flow in your house today. Let your presence flow, Jesus. And as I was reading that, I remembered Faith wrote that. And then I wrote this part, let your spirit fall in your house today. Let your spirit fall, Jesus. So that's the chorus. That's the main.
It's more
body.
it's different than your other songs because it's more worship, right? It's you've talked a lot about your lyrics, and I guess it would be different if she wrote 90% of the songs, but let's talk about its placement on the album. It's different.
Yeah. I mean, it comes in after Near. So, if you listen to the last episode of Near, talking about, and Near was written after this song, but talking about like that transition of, okay, I've realized that like I'm not going to do this anymore type thing. Like I'm going to follow you and I'm going to just trust you no matter what. But you can see the transition, and yes, Faith wrote most of this song. So that's probably why it's a lot more worshipy, I guess, because she was definitely into that more worship type writing than I was at the time. I was just writing my feelings because I didn't know how else to get them out. But I think that it comes at a perfect placement after Near, because then it's like, okay, you are near, now I want more of you. Like, I recognize you're near, now here I am, I want more of you. And so I think lining it up right after Near was perfect on the album.
I can remember there's, in life, there are specific instances or moments that you recall. There's a lot of times that you guys or your mom or my cousin Bobby, he was texting me while I was recording earlier. And hey, he sent me a picture of a paintball gun. He said, do you remember this? And I was like, it looks familiar, and I had bought that for him as a birthday present at some point because he was getting into paintball and whatever. So, but I didn't remember any of that. And then he was like, do you still have that black chest that John bought? And I had no idea. I have the chest, but I could not remember who bought it for me. So there's a lot of stuff I do not remember. So I cherish the moments that I do. And one of the moments I remember, and it's something it's been burnt into my mind. We had went camping, and we were doing it the old fashioned way. We were in a tent, and I remember that Faith was in the tent, and on a cot, of course, because
Oh, that's the perfect way to sleep too.
yeah. Well, you would never go on the ground, so
I love cots. Sorry, that was just a really odd input. But.
Anyway, and I remember here I am falling asleep, and I look up, and she is sitting. You are sitting on the cot, and you had just read your Bible, and you were sitting up, and you were praying. And I actually dozed off and woke up, and you were still praying. And it's just I can still see it in my mind's eye, like just this little girl who just desperately wanted Jesus and to please Jesus. And I can remember telling you, down through time and reminding you of that, like, don't let anything ever steal that. Don't let anything ever get in the way of that. So I agree. Let's talk about music influences. This is something I don't know that we've even talked about Breanna on the program. So I'll start with Faith, and then we'll go to Breanna. But like, what are your musical influences? Like, what is it that because you obviously, without revealing too much, I'll allow you guys to reveal it. But your tastes are a bit different. So what is it? What type of music do you like? Who are your artists you like to listen to? What are your influences?
Yeah, so I'm more of that contemporary Christian. Of course, around that time that we were writing this song, if I recall correctly, I was more into like the Carrie Job, not quite CC Winans yet. I just remember really like hardcore Carrie Job, Britt Nicole. I'm trying to think of some other ones. There's one song, Jamie Grace, Natalie Grant. So some people like that. There's another artist, but I can't quite remember his name that you had actually told me about. And there was this one song that no.
Jeremy Camp?
No. I don't think he's really well known. I don't, at the time he was, but I just remember like being in our house and specifically in the living room, and I would blast my music. Of course, I would call Breanna and be like, let's dance to some Britt Nicole. But those were my early influences. And then it kind of transitioned actually around 2019, between 2017 and 2019, I think it was, with Riley Clemens when she came out. Her first album, I think, was released in 2018. So around this same time, I was transitioning into that. And she was more of like that poppy Christian type genre. She's since kind of transitioned. It's actually kind of cool because as she releases more music, every song seems to align with like how I feel perfectly. So that early like album, the poppy, that kind of filled my soul a little bit. And then she transitioned into a little bit more like, it was around COVID, around this time. And, she had like Keep on Hoping. And I remember like that filling my heart the way that it, I just felt like I just needed just a little bit of hope to keep on going. And then recently more worshipy kind of songs, but she's been like the biggest influence on my life.
Riley Clemens.
Yeah. Her, and I love CC Winans and Brandon Lake. Those are like, and Ann Wilson. Those are like the top 4 for me.
So you recently saw Riley Clemens in concert.
Yes. So I've actually seen her twice. Breanna a year ago took me to a Riley Clemens and Jordan Feliz concert. And it was a VIP experience, but I only got to meet Jordan, which I'm thankful for the opportunity, but I was expecting Riley. And this time around, I was expecting Riley again and only got Leanna. But hey, it was fun to meet Leanna.
I got a lot. I got a lot on that.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Also, now she's hijacked the program.
Hey, sister.
Welcome to the sisterhood.
Okay, so now everybody's curious, so we have to. Okay.
Except for the people from our congregation who've heard it like 55,000 times.
Well, That's the benefit of it, right? So, okay, so I'll tell you this quick story. So we knew that Faith really liked Riley Clemens, and when I say we, my wife and I. And so it was, around Christmas time, leading up to, getting Christmas gifts or whatever. And so we decided that we were going to get her these tickets because she had talked about it, and then she wanted friends to go with her. And so so what we did is we got tickets for Breanna and Faith, and then two of Faith's friends, to go to this concert. And then my wife and I, we went as well. We bought tickets as well. So we'd all go together, and I circled it on my calendar, made sure nothing was going to, be in the way. And I bought them, and that was that. We told them at Christmas because, it was a digital ticket. So there's really, I think my wife what did she do? She did like a little card or something.
It was an envelope that said, "You have tickets to this."
Yeah. And it was probably in a big box that you had to dig through.
Yeah.
So I bought the tickets, never thought anything else about it. And that was that. To be honest, I thought it was a Riley Clemens concert and there would be other people singing, but she was the headline, and that was not at all what was happening. So anyway, the day of, or maybe the night before, I made sure I downloaded the tickets, had them on my phone. I never thought anything about it. The girls were telling me we had it was a very nice day, stopped and got something to eat at,
Oh Lord, that was the experience.
yeah, well, we'll leave that out of the story. Now that I think about it. Okay, we'll leave that out. All right. So, let's just put it this way. If we're out of town, we like to try different Mexican restaurants. And, this one turned out not to be great. So we're moving on. So, we get to the concert, and I mean, like, immediately there were some things that were standing out to me, but I didn't really pay a lot of attention to it. Number one was the merch that they were offering. It was but it was female singers, so I didn't think anything of it. It was very
Girly?
okay, girly, yeah.
The way he said that, though.
How did I say it? What did I say?
Girly.
Don't trust her.
Okay, because I feel like I did not say it that way.
You did not. It was like girly, but like hyphenated girly. You just kind of hesitated a little bit, but it was whatever she did, not it.
Okay, so anyway,
You're better at impersonation.
Okay, so I'm looking at this merch, and I'm like, okay, so there's not really anything that stands out like something that I would buy. And so anyway, we go in and sit down, and I'm there. I'm honestly there. I wanted to make sure that everybody got there safe, and so that was important for me. And then I was there, obviously, for them. That's what it was about. And I was not excited. There was not like over the top excitement. I was excited to not have to be at work, but I was able to go do something with my family. We offered our son tickets as well.
And to find out he was the smart one and chose not to go. Well, I mean, like, out of the two of you.
Hey, don't bite the hand that fed you.
True story. Okay.
I mean, the guys.
Okay. So anyway, we get there, and so the merch was, was something that I was like, okay. And then on the like projection or TV, whatever they have up there, it's just huge projection screen. It says Sisterhood Tour. And I still didn't think anything of it because I'm thinking they're all female singers, right? But as the theater began to fill up, it was obvious that there were just not a lot of men in the crowd. As a matter of fact, and you guys correct me, maybe 10 men is all I saw the entire night, and I was one of them. Would that be accurate?
I feel like that's an accurate
Okay, and what do you
assumption.
think? Probably 300 people there, probably?
Yeah, I'd say.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say that's about right.
All right, or maybe more. Okay, point is, not very many men.
No.
Okay, all right. So I started feeling a little bit uncomfortable. We had really good seats, so we're right up by the stage. So it's impossible, if you've ever seen me, it's impossible to not see me. I'm, 6'6", and I'm a big guy. So I'm up close to the stage. It's impossible to not see me. And, I try to be respectful. They say, "Oh, everybody stand to your feet." So I stand up. Well, everybody is to my shoulders. I'm in a room full of women, and so I'm just sticking out like a sore thumb. And at some point, they started coming out, and they had their stools and all these different things, and they're going to do all these questionnaires and all these. And it turns out that it looks more like a women's conference than a concert. So at some point, I turned to my left, which is where my wife was, and I said, "I'm not supposed to be here." And it kind of, I don't know, became a running joke, right?
Yeah,
I probably
still
said
hilarious.
it. I'm glad you can laugh.
I kept tapping your leg because that's what they were doing to each other on stage, and I thought it was really sweet. I'm just trying to make you feel like one of the sisters. And
Yeah, I appreciate it. So, and I don't like this. I don't like, and I'm sure for those of you listening, you've been a part of a church service at somewhere along the way where the pastor says, "Okay, I want you to get out of your seats and go out and shake somebody's hand that you don't know." See, I don't like that stuff. I don't like that in church. I don't like that anywhere. It's just not me. And so they didn't ask us to get up and move around the theater, but they said, "Hey, turn to someone that you don't know and introduce yourself." Well, it turns out I'm one of the only few, because I'm on the outside seat, and I'm thinking, boy, I picked a good one. And so I turned to my right, and I apologize. And if you're listening, I am sincerely sorry. I know you like to garden, but I don't recall. I don't remember your name. But there was a lady to my right, and I said, "Hi, I'm Tom." It's just super weird, and she said either Penny or Jenny or something with any. I don't know. And so, and then as I'm turning to look back, there is another lady who is knelt down right in front of me. And she grabs my hand, both hands. Well, I mean, my hand, she grabs, wait a minute. She grabbed my one hand with both of her hands. And she said, "Hi, I'm Brenda." Thank you, Faith.
I kept noticing Brenda, that I'm assuming that was Brenda, who kept looking at you all night. I kept seeing this woman. I had no idea that happened. I kept looking over, and I kept seeing this woman looking at you, and I was like, "What is this woman looking at my dad for?" I was like, "What the heck is happening?" And I guess I didn't realize she was like necessarily looking at you. I thought maybe she was looking at all of us, but then I was like, did I realize she was looking at you? But that was after all of the introductions, so yeah.
Yeah, that was Brenda.
Oh, Brenda.
Apparently, I miss seeing Brenda.
Well, anyway, so then I forget which lady was singing. I'm traumatized still.
Listen, they're great singers.
They are. That's not the point, and I appreciate you adding that. It's totally irrelevant at this point. But so they're up there on stage, and they're like, "Okay, now I want you to shout out the name of your newly found bestie." And I'm like, and I look, and both Brenda and Penny, Jenny, they're both looking at me. And so they were like, 1, 2, 3. And I was so like, I'm going to use this word, flabbergasted, that I could not remember names. And so I just was like, and then I went on, right? But I told my wife, and I'll wrap this up, but I told my wife several times, and it would even look at the girls and be like, "I'm not supposed to be here." And at one point I told my wife, I'm gonna go to the car. Now there were, I should not say this, but I'm going to say it because I'm me and it is what it is. So there's some of those guys, they were right at home. They were fine, but not me. I was not one of those individuals. I felt completely and totally out of place. They clearly did not. Good for them. God bless them. But I was out of place. And so, but I stayed, and on the way home, God actually gave me a sermon that I preached, and I titled it, "I'm Not Supposed to Be Here, but I'm Exactly Where I'm Supposed to Be." And, we can talk about that at a later time. But, so look back on it. It's a fun story to share nonetheless.
I laugh every time I hear it, and I've heard it 5 times at this point. But, yeah, I guess we were talking about musical influences, so I guess I should give my
your
answer.
turn. I'm glad you remembered because I forgot. I lost it with Brenda.
So, For me, I have a totally different like view than Faith. So growing up, you played a lot of Southern gospel. So the Gaithers, the Isaacs, who I love listening to, like all of those. I'm like blanking on all of their names right now, but just listening to all of like the Southern gospel music. I seem to sing those songs better than I can contemporary Christian music nowadays. Faith pointed that out to me last Sunday. She was like, you sing these songs a lot better than you do the contemporary Christian.
It was actually supposed to be a compliment. Like, you sing those songs really good, I think. I can't really sing those songs, so you're really good at them.
Well, thank you. So anyway, that was the my influence, but then not Christian, but like the outside of it, like you would put music on that would be like, all right, Breanna, name this artist, and you would like quiz me, and you still do this. So like I have a lot of like 90s influence, like Rob Thomas and Matchbox 20, who is also the lead singer is Rob Thomas, and all these other 90s bands. And so I have a lot of that kind of influence as well, that kind of goes into how I sing and how I put not words to music, because obviously they're not Christian songs, but the melodies that sometimes come with it. Or maybe we might say, oh, let's add a 90s spin to this song or something like that when a song's in production. But for me, the spiritual side of it is definitely the Southern gospel music. Like when I'm just struggling or whatever, I turn on those old Southern gospel songs. There's just something about them. I don't know. Well, it's God. And I'm not saying that God is not in the contemporary Christian world. So if you're listening out there and you're like, you're whatever, you're cursing me out because I don't know what I'm saying.
I don't either, but I think we should stop.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I don't know what's happening. I kept waiting. I don't even know.
I guess my point is I'm not saying that God is not in the contemporary Christian music, because obviously he is. But there is something about those old Southern gospel songs that I just relate to, and I feel his presence in more so than I do sometimes in the contemporary songs when I sing them, or just, and I don't know, maybe it's because in those days when they wrote them, they were writing them from a place of, God, if you don't move, nothing will happen. Whereas now we're so dependent on everything. It's like, well, I can do this, I can do that, but they were writing it from a place of dependency on God.
And I also think there's a pretty simple explanation here as well. So, you would have been, that's what I would have been listening to, singing in the car, driving around as you were a child by the time, because, and we didn't say this, there's an 8-year difference between Breanna and Faith. By the time Faith got here, I wasn't listening to Southern gospel as much. It was Stephen Curtis Chapman. It was Jeremy Camp. It was Aaron Schust. And okay. So anyway, yeah. So I think, and that's probably because that would have been Faith riding around the car hearing those songs. And so, yeah, kind of interesting how that works for sure.
Might I add the Eagles? I love listening to the Eagles. So that's also a big influence that you play like a lot, that I love the Eagles. So it's kind of like an older one, but I like the Eagles.
Older one, they're before I was born. Yeah. So, okay. All right. So there's their musical background in a nutshell. Music has always spoke to me. It's good and bad, honestly. I can remember being a teenager and being angry and putting on music that just fed my anger. But I have a wide area of musical things that I like. So, but we better get back to this song. So So we went through the verse 1, and then you said the pre-chorus and the chorus.
Yeah.
Verse
so
2.
now it's verse 2. So I have seen you work in mighty ways. I have seen your power on display. And that's the verse that I wrote.
And then back into the pre-chorus and
the
then the
chorus.
chorus. Okay.
Yeah.
I assume there's a bridge to this. Did you write the bridge?
I wrote the first line to the bridge, and then Faith wrote the second line.
Okay. So read the first line, and then let's get it over to Faith. She is very anxious. She's grabbing for the mic.
So I wrote, Jesus, you are mighty and you are great.
And then Faith.
You have healed me in your name.
Okay. So that means a lot to you. And go ahead and tell that story.
Yeah, so in 2015, so 4 years before this song was written, I was 8 years old and broke my leg. I dislocated my kneecap and broke my growth plate at a trampoline park. It's a long story, but I'll just get to the powerful part. So I wrote this part of the song because I saw God heal me. They had told me that I would need to continue to go to doctor's appointments for 2 years at the Children's Hospital in Pittsburgh. And come to find out, we didn't know it then. We believed, but didn't know that God would completely heal me. So I had my surgery, and then I continued going to back for appointments until I believe it was July. I got my cast off, and around that same time, I had actually had a dream that God spoke to me through and told me that I wouldn't need a cast, or not a cast, I'm sorry, a brace.
So let me add in a little bit here, if I can. So when the doctor was like, after the surgery, he was talking about the process that would follow. One of the things he said is when the cast comes off, she'll have to have a brace for X amount of months. And I don't remember what that timeline was. So Faith had come to me, and she had said that she had had a dream. And she said that in the dream, the Lord spoke to her and told her he was going to heal her leg, and she would not require a brace. So do you want to pick up, or you want me to keep going?
Yeah. So a couple weeks later, of course, like you said, I came to you like the morning after I had that dream, and also went to Mom. I remember sitting in the room and telling you guys about this, and Mom was like, yes, Faith, we're going to believe this with you. And you said, yes, we believe, but I want to prepare you that
I didn't want you to be disappointed.
Right.
Because the doctor had already said this is the way it was going to be. And I remember saying, Faith, yes, we're going to believe for that. Because it was like World War III, right? It was like, we're going to believe. Yes, I believe. I absolutely believe. But
there's a protocol.
There's a certain protocol. Like, even if it's healed, he's probably going to put you in a brace. And then, did you have a second dream?
I did have a second dream, and it was like God confirmed that.
Yeah.
I came to you again and said the same thing, and you were like, okay, we believe, but, and once again, and it wasn't like you said, to me, then I kind of viewed it as a lack of faith, but now I understand that, you were just being a parent that
I was trying to prepare you,
right.
but in faith, you don't say but.
Right.
And so, yeah. But then when you went to the doctor, I remember he cut the cast off, he removed the pins.
Mm-hmm. So we sat down, and we were in the doctor's office, and I remember just like sitting there on the edge of my seat, just waiting to hear the words like, you don't need a brace. And we were looking over at the x-rays and all of the things.
And he never talked about a brace at all. Like, he never brought it up.
No, not at all. And so then you asked.
Yeah, so here's what he said. He said, really good range of motion. This looks really good.
So you remember more than I do.
Yeah, well, yeah. And he said, really good range of motion. The leg looks strong. Everything looks really good. We'll see you in 6 months. And I said, doctor, you had said that she was going to require a brace. And he went, no, her leg's in really good shape. She doesn't need a brace. And Faith turned and looked at me and said,
I told you so.
That's what she said. She said, I told you so. And she said, I told you so from the time we left the doctor's room.
I just remember driving past
until
traffic
we got
lights,
to the
and
vehicle.
I was like, I told you so. I told you so. I told you so.
And I, of course, was happy. I remember I came back and told the church about it. Like I was really super happy. I mean, I
That was
love
the
them.
best "Told You So"
Yeah. Well, you don't get
that
very
you've
many.
ever heard. Yeah, that's true. Except a few weeks ago.
I don't know what we're talking about.
I don't remember the circumstance, but I
Oh,
told
of
you
course.
so again.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
definitely told you so again.
Okay.
And you had to admit it. But anyway, I digress.
And yet I don't remember.
It happened, I promise. I put my hand on the Bible.
Well, I'm not asking for any of that. I'm not asking you to sell your soul or anything like that.
Okay.
I'm just like, I don't know what's happening. It's just odd that you would say that. Okay. So one of the things, Faith, that we have talked about with this, with the first album, Breanna has said it a lot, that we just didn't know what we were doing. And Josh did a great job, but your voices have also changed, right? So like,
Yeah.
I know sometimes when that song comes on in
Oh my goodness.
you just don't even like to listen to it. And you'll be like, turn it, turn it, turn it, turn it. So I'm going to ask you guys to do something. And just maybe adjust that mic to the middle and kind of push it back. Yeah, where it picks it up. And don't, I'm kind of guiding them through this process. Don't move positions. Just pick it up right there and give the audience a little bit of that song.
I have tasted your amazing grace. I have tasted your presence, Lord. I want more of you. I need more of you. I want more of you, Jesus. I want more of you. I need more of you. I want more of you, Jesus.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Sorry, I forgot that part.
My pleasure.
Thanks.
So maybe one of these days it'll be, I know we've talked a great deal about like re-recording some of the songs on that first album. And again, it had nothing to do with the studio or the person that recorded it. It had everything to do with the fact that your voices have changed. They have. And even Josh, he and his wife, they have a group called Profound Revival. They're awesome. And they came and sang at the church. And I was just thinking about how Breanna, you had led worship and he got up and said how proud of you he was because he seen how you had grown and your voice had grown. And so pretty awesome stuff.
Yeah, I mean, listening to that album, I have a song on there that's hard. Really all of them are hard for me to listen to, but it is because my voice has changed a lot and has grown, thankfully. And so yeah, but it would be a good song to redo. I think it would be a powerful song to redo. Maybe we wouldn't carry it on as long. I think it's like 5.5 minutes or something on the album.
Well, and that's why I wanted to be clear. We're going to give a little bit because
Yeah.
you'd still be singing. It is a long song.
It is. It's a very long song.
But it's a worship
good
song, and you're
Yeah.
trying to really, usher in the presence of God. So
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy singing it. We don't sing it often, but we enjoy singing it when we do, and it is a powerful song, and it takes you back. I mean, all of these songs for me, I can't say for Faith, but for me, when we sing these songs, it just takes me back to that moment. Music, like you were talking about, music has a way of doing that, and I don't think it's a coincidence that music has a way of either entering you into the presence of God or entering you into other things as well, because
Yeah,
it is
true.
a powerful source. And I think that's why it's so important to be careful what you listen to, be careful what you're putting in your body and into your mind and into your ears, because it is a great source and it could be so great and it could be so powerful, or it is a powerful source. So it can be, ushering in the powerful presence of God, or it can be ushering in demonic spirits, honestly.
Yeah.
And you have to be careful what you're doing, because everything comes from something.
junk in,
Junk out.
junk out. Yeah. Okay. Well, Faith, thank you for being here with us. It's been an entertaining episode.
It's been real. Thank you for having me.
Okay. And ladies and gentlemen, this is how it is at home all the time. It's fun times. So Faith, there's an 8-year difference between you and your sister, but just talk about your relationship.
Yeah, so we've always been super close. I remember her being in high school, and I would have been homeschooled at the time, so I didn't have like a lot of interaction with people at the time. They didn't have like the co-op stuff and all the things that they have now. So I was just kind of like home and alone until she would get home after 3. So sometimes after that because of sports. So I would always ask her to like come and play with me. I'm just like this little girl. We play with dolls and, you know, all the things. But I always enjoyed being around her. I was always one of those kind of kids that was more influenced by the older people rather than my generation because I don't feel like I fit in at all. So even now, like I would rather be around like my professors in high school. I would rather be around my teachers rather than my peers. So with Breanna, she's always been like, we've always been super close. We do everything together. She's always been my built-in best friend. And like she takes me to concerts, we go shopping together, we go to Starbucks and all the things and Chick-fil-A. So we're definitely like everything we do is together, and without her, I wouldn't be who I am. So
Breanna?
Well, I'm emotional. No, I mean, I remember when I found out that I was going to have another sibling. And of course I had my brother, and we were really close growing up because we were all that we had. And then finding out that I was going to have another sibling, and I remember wanting a sister. And then it's imprinted in my mind forever, just walking into that hospital room when she was born and seeing her there for the first time. And she's just always been my little baby. And she gets mad at me because I mother her quite a bit. And I think it is that 8-year difference. But, you know, I do mother her. And she's very independent. She's a strong, independent woman. And so she likes to do all of her own thing. Like, she has her own mind, I guess, is what I'm saying. And so she won't.
No, she does. What you're saying is...
You don't want to listen to me is what I'm saying, I guess. And so I'm trying to like... And so we're very close, but we do butt heads sometimes, but I think that's just a sibling thing. But no, I don't know what I would do without her. She is my best friend, and she, you know, I would come home, and I would be that sibling that would play with her and do things with her. And there were days that I was like, Faith, I'm tired. I just got done with a 2-hour practice. You know, I want to rest. But she'd be like, play baby dolls with me. And we would play baby dolls because she was very convincing. And
very convincing.
So
I apologize for that though, because now after being in high school and seeing the rigor of that, and also like just being so weary of the day with volleyball and all the things like that I had to do throughout the day. I'm sorry that I put you through that.
It's okay. I forgive you. But I don't regret it. I miss moments like that because it was so simple back then. And I remember her telling me, when you get a car, we're going to go do these things. And I was like, Faith, when I get a car, I'm not doing those things. And I got a car, and we've done those things. So.
Okay, I'm going to cut you off. I don't know what's happening.
I haven't forced you to do anything though.
No, I guess what I'm saying is that faith is just, yes, I love my sister, and I never want to do anything that would upset her. And so I do things to try to make her happy. I do things to try to please her. And so there are things that I do that sometimes I don't necessarily want to do, but to make her happy, not because she asks, but because I think she deserves the world. I do things for her that she might not always think that she deserves, I guess. And so, yeah.
Okay. First thing I want to say is that this is, and Breanna, I'm coming back to you. This has felt like a tennis match for me. This microphone they use is on a swivel, so it's just going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. I want to give you a chance to talk about your new song getting ready to drop. Here I Am.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this song. This song really means a lot to me. If you follow along on my Facebook page, I've been trying to get really good at posting things. If you don't follow me, you can follow along at Breanna Megan Music on any social media platform. But really, I do a lot on Facebook. But yeah, this song really means a lot. It really is. I don't know how detailed you want me to go into this because I know it will have its own episode one day, but it was a very reflective song. It was a song that took me back to my childhood, and I'm really excited for everyone to hear it because this is a huge part of my heart and a big piece of my story, I guess.
Yeah, I'm excited for it to get out there as well. It is absolutely a wonderful, wonderful song. So, all right. So what's up next? What's the next song on the list there?
Oh man, I wanted to look. I should have been prepared.
We have, so if we are at 9, we have 3 more.
Let's see. Great and holy are you, Lord.
Oh my goodness. I just guessed that. And I was right.
Ding, ding. We have a winner. I didn't realize we were on a game show.
I didn't realize that I had all these in memory. Wow. After that.
Well, while you have the
don't
microphone, because my neck is
never
starting to
changed?
get sore.
No, you already
I wanted to thank you for being on the program, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did.
I did. And I want to add a little bit about her song, Here I Am. This one is my personal favorite. And I just encourage everybody to, when it officially releases, I've had the pleasure to have a little bit of a sneak peek, but once it releases, please go listen to it because it is my personal favorite, and I have had it on blast since it got finished up in production. So I love it so much. It's amazing.
And In the Silence is the new remastered, we'll call it remastered, is currently in production, and we've had to kind of go back to scratch or start from scratch with that one. So it may be a little longer than we had hoped, but as we've talked about literally every program, it's piece by piece, and we're putting it together piece by piece.
Yeah, we didn't know that, or I didn't know that when I wrote Piece by Piece and when I decided that Piece by Piece would be the name of the album, that it was kind of like, I don't know if you want to be like a prophetic word, but it was definitely saying, hey, this is going to be a piece by piece project.
And then we've talked about what's next for you. We also want to get an album out for Faith as well. She, I think, is going to do one called Undercover. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, and it's going to have some of my favorite cover songs on it from some of the names that I listed back when you asked me my influences.
Yeah. So I know Belief for it.
Yeah.
You're going to also have to do How He Loves Us because you.
That was my first starter song per se.
Yeah, by David Crowder. So that one, and then what else you thinking?
Trust in God has been kind of a staple for me by Elevation Worship. At some point, I kind of want to throw in something from Riley Clemens just because she's been like my artist that I've kind of clung to.
And then probably Saman Wilson.
Yeah, My Jesus and Strong are 2 of my favorites from her that I've sung. Well, we're getting a Breanna Megan cover whenever I help collaborate on Piece by Piece. No, but Collaboration.
All right, ladies, thank you for this episode. I want more of you, Jesus. And as we close today, I want to leave you with a powerful truth. It's simple, but yet it's very powerful that, the Bible says that you can gain the whole world and still lose your soul. And so I want you to hear today, I hope that you've picked up on their desire to be close to Jesus. That's what this song is all about. I want more of you. I need you, Jesus. But you can gain everything this world has to offer and still feel so empty. So we just want to encourage you to lean on him today, because when you encounter Jesus, you realize that he is not only enough, he is more than enough. And I think that's so powerful. The Bible says in Matthew chapter 5, verse 6, blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be filled. And that is not just a scripture there. It's a promise that he will fill. And so, again, I want to thank Breanna and Faith for this. We'll be ready to look at Great and Holy Are You, Lord, from Breanna's first album on the next episode. Also want to encourage you. I often forget to say this, and I really shouldn't. And I was reminded before we started recording. I was able to write a couple books. One book in particular, this past summer. If you go to Amazon and search my name, both books will be there. You can also visit legacylivingmedia.com and check those out. I believe they'll be a blessing to you. We also have the What's Important Now radio program, broadcast, podcast, whatever you want to say. It's 23 years and going strong. So we'd love to have you to join in for those as well. So don't forget to subscribe and follow More Than a Song. Super important. And share it with someone that may be blessed by it as well. Until next time, this has been More Than a Song with Breanna Megan, and on this episode, Faith Danielle. God bless you. May he keep you. Take care.